All right, Derby fans, you heard that whistle. It is time for safety checks. These are our regulators you see out there. It's our officials team. Some of them wearing stripes, some of them not, and this is our chance to welcome you. This is one of the teams we could not do this without. This is our regulators. My pleasure to begin introducing them to you. Your head referee is Mama Seidel.
Game executioner is Gigi.
Your front pack ref is Infidel Castro.
Backpack ref is Bender B. Rodriguez.
Jam referee Meryl Streak.
Eye in the sky is Baby Bat.
Jam referee Chasen Voorhees.
Another eye in the sky, Lombre de la Luna.
Outside pack referee Dolly de los Muertos.
Outside pack referee is Lollipop.
Penalty tracker Rosie the Ripper.
Penalty track assistant, Lazy Fokker.
Penalty box home Lucifer.
Penalty box, Yazzle Dazzle.
On whiteboard is Jax to win.
Scoreboard is Retromancer.
And your runner is Rainbow Crash. Let's give it up for our regulators. Without them, it would be absolute chaos and anarchy out on the track. Also, my pleasure to point out our wonderful medic down there on the infield this evening. I see Nacho Mama down there in the infield. And Nacho's pointing at the other medic. Morning Madness, thank you. Well, she's facing away from me if she'd turn around. Thank you. We got Nacho Mama, number 66, and Morning Madness, number 440 down there in the infield. That's your two medics. And if you couldn't tell, both skaters as well. So our medics keeping us legal down there in the infield. We have to have medics at all times because this is a full contact sport. All right, Derby fans, who's ready for the first bout of the evening? We're going to have the Coffin Draggers versus the Brutal Beauties, and taking the track now, wearing black and green, it's the Coffin Draggers. Somebody call the graveyard and let them know we found them. It's the Coffin Draggers. Number 13, Hugs and Stitches. Number 18, Embezzlement. Number 23, Murder Mittens. Number 30, Zora la Bruja. Number 96, Olive You Die. Number 333, Bed Bugs Bunny. Number 414, Foxy Razordine. Number 626, Remy Ruckus. Number 1312, Ricky D. Bones. Number 070, Invader Slim. Co-captain of the Coffin Draggers, number 666, that's Strange. And your captain of the Coffin Draggers, number 616, Antifa. Coaches for the Coffin Draggers this evening are Grantula and Gearbear.
And the team that is oh so pretty in pink, the Brutal Beauties. We've got number 12, Maximum Hoverdrive. Oh. They gotta come together first. Sorry, jumped the gun on that one. I was just really excited about announcing them. All right, let's try this again. Number 12, Maximum Overdrive. Number 17, Bitch Please. Number 19, The Kituation. Number 41, Joliet Jane. Number 52, Gnarly Quinn. Number 9, MK3, Gypsy Danger. 226, Honey Trap. Number 300, Dolly Spartan. Number 602, Phoenix. 2011, Colette Razorcat. And your co-captain for the Beautiful Beauties is Evil Twin. And your captain is Skeletori. Coaches tonight for the Beautiful Beauties is going to be Princess Leia and Mimi Mahler.
All right, we are just about ready to get underway here. First whistle will be momentarily. And as we said before at the top of the bout, this is all for playoff seeding this evening. These teams are our top 4 teams and will remain our top 4 teams after this evening. So this is all for playoff seeding. If the Runaway Brides are defeated by the Bombshells later, and if the Coffin Draggers win this game, we're going to have 3 teams at the top of the standings at 4-1, and it's all going to come down to tiebreakers as far as who's going to face who at our next bout on April 20th, which is our playoff bout, at which we will determine our championship bout competitors. I'm going to get underway here, and Gigi will be blowing the whistle once given the signal by Mama Seidel. And for our new fans here in attendance, and also any new fans watching us on the Twitch stream, hello Twitch, hi Twitch. Please give me pogs, please give me claps. Hello Twitch. We are so happy to see you if you are joining us here on the Twitch stream as well. So we'll let you know a little bit about what goes on in roller derby. You see here that the team is lining up. You have 4 skaters for each side lining up at the front there. Those are your blockers. Back here at the back of the pack, we have 2 skaters wearing a star on their helmet. That's number 17, Bitch Please, for the Brutal Beauties, and number 96, All of You Die, for the Coffin Draggers. Those 2 point scorers wearing the stars on their helmet are the ones who can score for their team. What they have to do is get through the pack, as they both have done. All of You Die is what we say is the lead jammer. Now, Olive's going to try to catch the pack and get points before Bitch Please can. Olive gets by, and once you've gotten out of the pack once, every skater you pass is a point. We will check in officially, and ergo, you could pretty much count that one. That's 1 point for All of You Die and the Coffin Draggers. That's pretty much it. The ones with the star, I mean, it's going to go on from there. We'll let you know other things that happen, like power jams and the other things you see on your derby card, but derby bingo card. But essentially, that's what you're looking for. The one with the star on their helmet, like in this case, Murder Mittens for the Coffin Draggers, is now out. The lead jammer is allowed to stop the clock, is what the lead jam makes a difference for, is that Murder Mittens can stop the clock once going through and getting points. As you see down here, that's Skeletori, who got out for the Brutal Beauties. Murder Mittens is now going to look ahead, and Murder Mittens will call off the clock before Skeletori gets any points. So there we are. That's kind of your primer on Derby. That's 4 more points for the Coffin Draggers, and we're at 5-0. Looks like this time we've got Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties.
And number 666, Strange, for the Coffin Draggers.
Jam gets underway. You'll see that there's a Coffin Dragger sitting in the penalty box there in the middle of the track. That's how penalties are assessed in Bank Track Derby. You have to set out the next 60-second jam. Obviously leaves your team at a disadvantage, just like a power play in hockey. This time, Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties is out, lead jammer, and our first lead jam for the Beauties in the bout. Strange is going to fight out as well for the Draggers.
But Gypsy's coming in for some scoring points here, and looks like they're making their way through the pack pretty darn well. But Strange is coming up to try and get some points as well, so we got a little bit of a scuffle going on here.
Gypsy Danger fighting through the pack, and Strange got through the pack as well. Collision there at the end. Looks like everybody's up and okay. Gypsy Danger got tangled up in the rail, and Strange came flying through at the back of the pack to score points as well. So 4 points for both sides, 9-4. Brutal Beauties are on the board here in the early going. That's going to be Murder Mittens once again for the Coffin Draggers.
And Evil Twin for the Beautiful Beauties. And there they go. It looks like it's going to be a really tough pack to beat tonight because it's really fast. Very intense. People are kind of falling down, kind of getting bumped around here a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we're definitely seeing some playoff derby.
Yeah, definitely everybody's ready for the playoffs, and everybody wants to improve their seating if possible. Murder Mittens is your lead jammer for the Coffin Draggers, gets through the pack and is going to keep an eye on Evil Twin and then call it off. You'll also see, you saw there with Murder Mittens getting out of the pack, those last blockers had to put their hands up. If a blocker is not within 20 feet of the pack, as defined by the regulators, then that blocker cannot block. So you saw those blockers had to put their hands up and let that skater go on through. We are going to have a timeout. This is going to be a team timeout by the Brutal Beauties. So a team timeout by the Beauties here in the early going. It's 11:24 to go here in the first quarter. 13-4, the Coffin Draggers in front. Fans, don't forget to have that bingo caller's card. You have the card there in front of you, I believe. You got those when you came in. Keep a track on those things. You can see how many of those things. We'll try to mention them as we go and let you know if they're on your, see many things on there. Some of those are things that apparently I need to say, so I promise I'll pepper those in at some point. I guess it'd be really mean for me not to say those things and just go up and claim the prize when I mutter it quietly under my breath. That'd be rude. Back to the game we go.
And it looks like we've got all of you die on the line for the Draggers.
That is right, and it's all of you die out there all by her lonesome. It's going to be a power jam. See your bingo card. Meanwhile, it is going to be a power jam. That's what happens when a penalty is assessed to your jammer, is you don't get a jammer in the next jam. And it is all of you die out there all by her lonesome for the Coffin Draggers. So the Coffin Draggers now are able to focus on just offense. And it also looks right now, let's see there, Brutal Beauties are out there with...
Looks like Dolly Spartan is out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've got Dolly Spartan. There's just 2 blockers out there for the Brutal Beauties, so it would appear the Brutal Beauties have a full penalty box as well, currently, with a jammer and 2 blockers in the penalty box. All of you die finishing off another scoring pass. This should be a productive jam for the Coffin Draggers.
Absolutely, and it's important to note that the score is never really the score.
Right, yes.
It can change from jam to jam, and certainly a power jam can affect it in the most delicious kind of way.
That is right. And what you had said already was going to be probably a pretty physical bout. A power jam can be absolutely huge, and that's going to do it. The clock expires as all of you die finishes the second scoring pass, and we've got from the infield double headlights. It's a 20-point power jam for the Coffin Draggers.
So let's hear it, Coffin Dragger fans. That's something to celebrate.
Coffin Draggers jump out to a big early lead here in the early going. We're going to have Evil Twin at the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties.
And Murder Mittens, number 23 for the Draggers. Looks like Evil Twin's going to make some quick work of the pack there as they get out. Looking for that scoring pass.
Murder Mittens trying to find a way through the middle of the pack. Taken down, and now spinning around and taking over his jammer. That's Hugs and Stitches. The skater wearing that stripe on their helmet is known as the pivot. They're kind of the captain of the defensive and offensive blocking zone, but they can take over his jammer, as you just saw. The jammer can take off that star cover and hand it to the pivot, and Hugs and Stitches took off to force the call off. Evil Twin puts 4 points on the board for the Beauties.
And on the jammer line, we've got number 17 for the Beautiful Beauties. Bitch, please.
And that's going to be Strange for the Coffin Draggers. Brutal Beauties have all their blockers out there, would appear. Let's see, 1 Coffin Dragger in the penalty box. And after a lot of checking, we are ready to go. Bitch Please finds an opening along the inside, and Bitch Please is out for the Brutal Beauties.
Strange is out and on their tail, looking to overtake them a little bit. Bitch Please is making it to the pack first, though. And it gets called off. On the jammer line, we've got number 11. Yeah, that's Skeletori.
Yeah. Number 011.
Oh, 11, sorry.
Yeah, that's where they got you.
There's an O there.
Right.
A 0.
Meanwhile, your jammer for the Coffin Draggers up at the front of the pack, trying to get clear, now rocketing around. Taking over his jammer is going to be Embezzlement for the Draggers. So another star pass for the Coffin Draggers. And now we've got Skeletori rocketing through the turn and coming up the back straightaway. Embezzlement fast in pursuit. Skeletori up into the rail. So 1 point there for the Brutal Beauties, and we're going to have Dolly Spartan at the jammer line for the Beauties now, number 300.
And we've got All of You Die, number 96 for the Draggers.
But before all of that, it's going to be a timeout. It is an official timeout.
Ooh, an official timeout. If you look
That's
on your
right.
bingo card, there might be a slot for that.
All right, speaking of official timeouts, that brings to mind something we definitely wanted to mention a couple of times tonight. We're accepting donations for a very dear retired longtime member of our league, Reverend Knuckleface. He's experiencing several medical issues right now that have kept him from working, and his medical bills are really piling up. He has tests being run to find his diagnosis. I am very good friends with Knuckleface, and I know that they're just baffled at what the heck is going on with him. All proceeds from the raffle will be donated to him tonight, so please buy those raffle tickets. The raffle is $1 per ticket or $6 for $5 for the prize raffle. You drop your ticket in the bag of the prize you'd like to win. And as we said, all proceeds from that and all proceeds from the cash raffle tonight are going to go to Reverend Knuckleface. We also have a donation jar located at the front door. You can drop cash donations in there. And any tips at the merch and snack bar will be donated as well. Anything you can give is more appreciated than you could possibly know. And we're really thinking about Reverend Knuckleface, one of our longtime league members and a longtime member of the Regulators, which is why the OTO had me thinking about it.
And now we're kind of back to the action here. We've got All of You Die and Dolly Spartan looking to get through the pack first. Looks like we've got a little bit of a scuffle. Very tight pack as they're trying to slip through. Looks like no, we don't have a lead jammer yet. Everybody's still trying to slip through. Blockers are doing a great job back there.
Oh, wow. Dolly manages to get through, and then the Brutal Beauties just close the door behind her. Olive now.
But here comes Olive.
Yeah, Olive gets out as well. Olive You Die, definitely one of our...
Would you call this a jammer race?
I would. Well, almost call it
Almost.
a jammer race. No,
Okay.
not quite.
Maybe?
Nah,
Okay.
that's not a jammer race yet. Dolly Spartan gets through the pack, fighting through down there, going into the corner, and is going to call it off. So, Brutal Beauties are chipping away at the lead. That's 4 more for the Beauties, so that's 3 straight jams of the Beauties. There we go. They should have put that on the bingo card, was me saying Bruties. Ding. Brutal Beauties have put, 10 straight points on the board, 9 straight points on the board. 4 plus 4 plus 1 is 9. And at the jammer line now for the Draggers is Bedbugs Bunny, number 333.
And for the Beauties, or the Broodies,
Yeah.
Evil Twin. I kind of like Broodies.
Yeah,
I like it.
Well, you'll hear it again, so don't worry. Fighting through, there goes Evil Twin. And wow, look at the front of the pack, trying to get through as the pivot and just giving it all away. Knocks Evil Twin to the infield. That was Murder Mittens, but Murder Mittens slid and touched his skate to the infield. And now Murder Mittens gets the jammer star from Bedbugs Bunny and takes off.
But Evil Twin is coming up hot on the pack here. Let's see what they can do. Ooh, got knocked off a little bit onto the infield there. I'm not sure who a dragger did that, but I can't see who it was.
So now we have going through the corner. There goes Murder Mittens. It's going to take over his lead jammer. Once the jammer is passed, Murder Mittens is taken over. Now Evil Twin is lead jammer, and now it goes back to Murder Mittens. The eyes in the sky have their arms going up and down like crazy. We technically just had 3 lead jammer changes, and the clock has expired. Well, that was an eventful 60 seconds. Let's see, we had a star pass, we had 3 lead jammer switches.
4 for Pete.
There are a lot of penalties coming in. Meanwhile, it was 4 points for both sides, so a net gain of nothing after all of that. These penalties are still falling in, and we're going to have a challenge. So I had a feeling we were going to have some sort of a stoppage in play. Well, hang on. Is it official? Yes, it is. Now it's official. Princess Leia has politely handed the challenge flag to Rosie the Ripper. You know, some coaches very emphatically throw it, and some coaches say, "Excuse me, we would like to challenge." So we do have a team challenge. Just like in most major sports, your team does get a challenge. So you see there down along the front straightaway, Bender B. Rodriguez is holding, Bender has the GoPro on his helmet, so they use that in the replay. It's like I like to say, it's like VAR, but ours actually works and isn't horribly corrupt like soccer's is in England, or I mean in Europe. So that's Gare Bear and Princess Leia. We will find out what the challenge is and find out the result of it momentarily. At the moment, as we said, it was 4 points for both sides. Coffin Draggers 37, Brutal Beauties 18, with just under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Dames merch booth to get your favorite league and team merchandise. We have brand new t-shirt designs from your favorite teams, and check out our discounted merch. This is also where you can get souvenir cups for the night. Come grab some keychains, tote bags, patches, and more. And watch out for new merch cart. Our goods now can come to you. So some of you new people that are here, you got to go get some merch. You got to proudly display that love.
Also, for the new fans, definitely if you have any questions, I am going to be sitting right up here in the announcer's nest during the quarter break. You can anybody here that is wearing skate T-shirt, anything that makes it look like we all love to talk about Derby as much as I love to talk about Derby. I just have a microphone so you hear me more. But if you have any questions about what you're seeing here during the bout, feel free to ask anybody. Come over here and ask me. We will happily let you know if you're like, well, I didn't understand what happened X, Y, and Z. Like, we would love to give you insight so that for the rest of the bout you know what the heck is going on. We also wanted to let you know our food truck this evening. That's all cooped up. They are serving real food that's really clucking good. Amazing hand-breaded seasoned chicken tenders and mouth-watering homemade sauces are just the start of what they do. Go check them out outside. Looks like that challenge is wrapped up. All right. As is often the case, the Brutal Beauties were challenging a jammer penalty to try to avoid giving up a power jam. The penalty was on Evil Twin as blocking out of play. So, as we mentioned earlier about blockers, and so Evil Twin picked up that penalty while being the jammer, probably while switching back and forth. So that means we're going to have a very interesting power jam here. It's another power jam for the Coffin Draggers. You're looking at 37 to 18 right now, so... And it's going to be, well, is that strange? That's strange.
That looks like strange. Number 666 for the Draggers.
But it's an exceptionally small pack. You've only got 2 blockers for the Coffin Draggers because they have 2 blockers in the penalty box. And the Brutal Beauties have a blocker and a jammer in the penalty box. So now Strange is basically just going to get those... Strange gets those front blockers out of play and gets to go on through. What you see happening here, they call this a goad. And those blockers for the Coffin Draggers in the back are going to try to separate the pack so that the blocker in front is therefore illegally out of play. However, there's only 2 blockers for the Coffin Draggers. When you have a wall of 4 blockers, it's kind of easy to sort of suck up a defender and hold them in the back there. Meanwhile, Strange fighting through the pack, and Strange is going to finish off a scoring pass.
The Beauties are doing a nice job of forming walls and things to try to keep Strange back.
Very much so. A lot of really good team-oriented effort in these things right now. Remy Ruckus now tries to go up the middle and separate those blockers at the front of the pack, but they're able to come back together. We've got 5 seconds left on this clock. Strange is going to try to finish the scoring pass if possible, and that'll do it. We'll check from the infield on the score. You get a point when your hip gets in front of the other skater's hip, and we'll have to find out from down there exactly how many they awarded. It's 10. So Strange got 2 full scoring passes and 10 points. Out on the jammer line now is Hugs and Stitches. This is Stitches' first bout back with our league after injuring her knee back around New Year's, I want to say. So good to see her out there with a rather large brace on that knee.
And it looks like we've got our captain for the Brutal Beauties out there, Skeletori. I'm tripping over it too.
Right. And there goes Stitches blasting right through the pack, and Stitches is out and clear, lead jammer for the Coffin Draggers.
Coffin Draggers are doing their best to keep Skeletori back, but they are out of the pack now, looking for that scoring pass. But won't get the chance. It's called off.
Yeah, we were discussing before the bout, this is Stitches' first bout back. And we said for somebody, if you know Hugs and Stitches, you know that Hugs and Stitches skates in approximately 26 roller derby bouts a week. And somehow Stitches got hurt doing something other than roller derby. So at a trampoline park, which I believe Hot Flash was laughing about it. Her mom was like, I can't believe out of all the things.
That's always how it happens.
But it's always good to see skaters come back after injury and being back out on the track. Meanwhile, fighting through the pack and getting clear is your lead jammer for the Brutal Beauties. That's Gypsy Danger.
But you've got All of You Die coming up behind them.
Gypsy now catching up to the pack, kind of collides with a couple of blockers at the back there. Tries to wedge the hips in front of a couple of them and calls it off. No points. Good defense by the back wall of the Coffin Draggers. No points for the Beauties. And I believe, did I just hear somebody say jammer? No. I think we're good. Evil Twin for the Brutal Beauties.
And is that Murder Mittens? Am I
is.
mistaken?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. For the Draggers.
I like when you ask a question and the skater looks over their shoulder and says yes.
I appreciate the help.
Right. That's how close we are to the action. How close everybody is to the action here at the arena.
Absolutely.
Murder Mittens is out and clear for the Draggers. Evil Twin just kind of sneaks by along the inside, tiptoeing backwards, and gets out. Murder Mittens is now going to try for that jammer point. Evil Twin's going to try to cling to the inside, and there goes Murder Mittens up to the high side. Evil Twin's going to get back to the pack, and Murder Mittens has to call it off. Evil Twin gamely out there, not giving up that jammer point.
Both teams are playing so super smart as far as calling off jams when it's necessary. It's good strategy.
Yeah, outside of the two 10 and 15-point power, or excuse me, 10 and 20-point power jams for the Coffin Draggers, it's been 25 to 18 otherwise. So definitely a defensive slugfest outside of those two high-scoring power jams.
Absolutely. And I think we've got number 17, Bitch Please, out there for the Brutal Beauties.
That's right. And then it's All of You Die for the Draggers. There is the same amount of time on the jam clock as the quarter clock, so this could be the last jam of the first quarter, but we'll have to see. So far, neither jammer is out.
Yeah, good defensive play back there. There's walls happening. There's just a lot of good body positioning that's keeping the jammers from getting out.
Yeah, it really has been an excellent blocking showcase here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of the focus gets put on the jammers for good reason.
Of
They
course.
do a lot of scoring, but honestly, it's the blockers who are just super important back there.
What's really interesting, we got 11 seconds left in the jam. You can watch these walls of skaters, and you can see that they're looking at each other and kind of communicating with their eyes and not even really bothering to say anything, because who's going to hear anything down there anyway, right?
Absolutely. It also lends itself to good team chemistry.
That's right. And meanwhile, neither jammer did get out. And that takes us to the end of the first quarter. There we go. It was a full 60-second jam to close things out. How often does that happen? Squarely in right on the nose of the quarter, so no points for either side. We'll step into our first quarter break. Right now, your score is Coffin Draggers 55, Brutal Beauties 18. We'll be back in 5. All right, we are ready to get underway, and we're going to start things off here in the second quarter with another power jam for the Coffin Draggers. That's Hugs and Stitches at the jammer line now for the Draggers. So yeah, jammer penalty assessed to the Brutal Beauties in that very long slog of a jam to end the first quarter.
And Hugs and Stitches is off. Let's see what they can do with the time they've got.
And
Taking
down
a little bit
along
of a
the
tumble.
infield. Yeah, I was going to say, excellent defense there. Kind of, Dolly Spartan was just sort of able to reroute Stitches down to the infield, and now Stitches is able to kind of get around Skeletori.
Yeah, Dolly wasn't making that
excuse me.
easy for Hugs and Stitches.
As Evil Twin, not Skeletori, there at the front of the pack. So Stitches now catching up to that wall of Coffin Draggers defenders, and Stitches weaving along the inside, gets past Evil Twin, and finishes that scoring pass.
Beauties are kind of setting up there to kind of slow Hugs and Stitches down a little bit there.
And
But
that
they
time,
just slip on through.
yeah, excellent blocking by the Coffin Draggers, just sort of holding that door open along the inside. Stitches has 9 seconds left and is trying to catch the pack for another scoring attempt. However, those Brutal Beauties blockers have gotten together at the front of the pack, and they're going to try to stay away from Stitches, and then the clock expires. That's going to be close. Let's check down there and see. 10 points for the Coffin Draggers, so Stitches, no points in that last scoring attempt.
And it looks like we got all of you die on the jammer land for jammer line.
We are going to have a timeout before we get to that action.
Just kidding. We're going to take a
We
pause.
got an official timeout. All right. So the regulators need to talk this over. See some penalties. Somebody just yelled OPR, so one of the outside pack refs has a penalty to report in. You see those outside pack referees, they stand down at the end of each straightaway so they get a straight-on view of what's coming along and any penalties that might be obscured from the view of the infield. Keeps everybody honest. Meanwhile, we'd like to let you know about some of our league items and sponsors and what have you. We've got Lost Dutchman Tattoo, one of our long-time league sponsors. Tattoo shop specializing in various styles from realism to traditional. You can also customize your own tattoo. Walk-ins are always welcome. They're located at 4121 North 19th Avenue. It's the east side of 19th Avenue, just north of Indian School. It's Lost Dutchman Tattoo. Come on by. I'd be happy to show you my tattoo. It is on my arm and nowhere inappropriate. That's going to be Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties. It was still all of you die, and they're both out.
Now this is a jammer race.
Now this is a jammer race. So Tori is going to try to keep the pressure on. Olive is going to try to catch up to the pack. Olive gets through, calls it off, sliding in backwards. Skaters tumbling down. Skeletori calls it off.
Skeletori put some nice pressure on Olive there.
And Olive gets 1 point.
And it looks like we've got Evil Twin for the Beauties and Murder Mittens for the Draggers on the jammer line now.
And they're taking off out of the pack. We've got another star pass. That's going to be Hugs and Stitches taking over his jammer for the Coffin Draggers. So the Coffin Draggers, instead of using that to get their second jammer out, they're going to use that as a primary attack idea here. And Stitches finishes off one scoring pass and is out again. Evil Twin now shakes clear for the Brutal Beauties. So Stitches is going to have another crack at this coming around.
We got a lot of positioning going on in the pack here to try and stop the jammers, but it gets called off.
And Hugs and Stitches finishes off that scoring pass and is going to, what do we got? All right, so 7 points for the Coffin Draggers. Just checking in on what's going on down there as far as penalties go. Okay, so it's going to be Skeletori this time for the Brutal Beauties.
And all of you die, number 96 for the Draggers. And away they go. Skeletori kind of dancing along the coping there, pushing her way through the pack. And they're out. Skeletori is out and around, yet Olive is kind of hot on her tail there.
That's right, Olive out as well. And Olive is going to be barreling in from behind here. Now Tori is catching up to the pack. Those Coffin draggers are at the front of the pack, and they're trying to play keep away. Tori is just going to have to call it off with Olive Udai bringing the pursuit at the back end.
Absolutely. Another example of good pressure by the jammer. Now on the jammer line, we got number 41, Joliet Jane for
That's
the
right.
Beauties. And it looks like we've got a line of people in pink over there in the crowd. Who are you all rooting for?
All right, that's Murder Mittens for the Draggers. That's JJ Joliet Jane out and clear for the Brutal Beauties. JJ's first time jamming tonight for the Beauties in the second quarter. And now racing to the front of the pack and taking over as jammer for the Coffin Draggers is going to be number 333, Bedbugs Bunny. So Joliet Jane finishes off that scoring pass and calls it off.
Yeah, Jane was definitely keeping their eye on Bedbugs Bunny. There we go.
Right.
That's a lot of bees.
Yeah, they just go by Bugs. It's
Bugs,
okay.
there we go.
Right. And I would say, Suki, there's been a lot of star passes. The Coffin Draggers seem to be employing that like as a frequent tactic and not like kind of a, they're using it as a primary offense and not as a kind of a, we're trying this to get somebody out kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen as many star passes in
There's been
a
bunch.
bout.
Yeah,
there's been a lot.
We see a lot of them in flat track and less of them in bank track because it's a shorter time frame.
Yeah.
So we are looking at Dolly Spartan for the Brutal Beauties.
And Olive Udai once again for the
That's
Draggers.
right. The indefatigable Olive Udai.
Olive doing a couple spin moves there to try to get out of the pack.
Yeah, just up and down that line of blockers. And wow, racing along the inside. There goes Dolly Spartan. So Dolly's out for the Brutal Beauties. Had a wrist strap flapping in the breeze. Gets that cinched down. Olive not out. Olive's had a lot of success in it. Oh, big collision on the inside. Maximum overdrive up and okay. But yeah, took a hard fall right on the concrete. There goes Olive now out of the pack for the Coffin
Beauties are
Draggers.
trying to get Dolly
Yeah.
out here.
As Olive has not had a lot of times that she has jammed and not gotten lead jammer.
That's
Been
very
very
true.
effective tonight. And yeah, that was a hard collision for Max there. I was going to say that I've never done roller derby, but I do stage work, and falling on stage. There's at least some give. You fall on concrete, it just reflects all of that right back into your spine.
Absolutely.
That is painful to go down in the infield here. Meanwhile, look at this. We had a jammer penalty assessed to the Coffin Draggers on all of Udai. It's going to be a power jam for the Brutal Beauties.
Let's
Gypsy
hear it, Beauty
Danger.
fans. This is a good one.
That's right, Beauties fans. There seems to be several of you in the audience, at least visually speaking. So Gypsy Danger at the jammer line with just over 9 minutes to go until halftime. Rather full pack otherwise. Brutal Beauties are down one blocker.
Draggers were already building up a wall there for Gypsy to try to get through. Very tight pack.
Yeah, you can see just everybody's just kind of trying to get an arm in there and just pry people apart. Gypsy Danger routed down to the infield by Hugs and Stitches. And now Gypsy weaves to the inside. It gets clear. There's
Gypsy did a good job at being deliberate on that one. Took their time, assessed what was going on, and then made the move.
So now they're going to try to goad up Embezzlement at the back of the pack here. M off onto the infield. Now here comes Gypsy Danger with 21 seconds left in the Brutal Beauties Power Jam. Gypsy tries to go by the inside and gets blocked off to the infield by Hugs and Stitches. Big collision back there. Embezzlement gets dumped almost all the way into the Coffin Draggers bench. Trying to fight through at the front of the pack is Gypsy Danger. Bumps into Remy Ruckus. You got Remy Ruckus. You got Hugs and Stitches up there. Gypsy to the inside and just gets clipped by Embezzlement. And that's going to do it. Wow, what a physical struggle. That about the only time everybody wasn't punching each other in the mouth is when Gypsy was circling the track.
Absolutely.
So 5 hard-fought points for the Brutal Beauties. And they're going to send Bitch Please to the jammer line.
And all of you die for the Draggers.
Underway we go. Olive this time up to the high side, and Olive now finds that opening. Olive's out and clear.
Bitch Please is towards the back of the pack there, working their way through. Draggers looking like they're building, well, they were building a little bit of a wall there. Trying to assess the situation. Olive's out, but also Bitch Please is out too.
So Bitch Please out, and she'll put that helmet cover back on as she comes down through the first turn. And now here comes Olive Udai on a scoring pass up to the high side. Kind of angles in, tries to get by all the skaters in one shot, and does it. Does not do it, excuse me. That last scoring pass did not get all of those points. Misheard until I looked over. However, it is going to be a power jam for the Coffin Draggers. We've got Hugs and Stitches at the jammer line for the Draggers. It's 80-30 at the moment. Got about 6.5 minutes to go until halftime. I can smell that food truck, and I'm just about to flee the arena and go raid that truck for every chicken strip they have. Tell you what, there better not be any timeouts until halftime, because I'm hungry. That smells good. Meanwhile, Hugs and Stitches crashes right into the back of the pack there at the beginning of this Coffin Draggers Power Jam, and is going to just fight through, clawing
That
through,
was like
and
a
gets out.
bulldozer.
Yeah, once again, it has to put a freaking, has to put the helmet cover back on.
And coming around for that scoring pass. A Beauty there at the high side trying to help out, but there's a nice wall forming with Dolly and, ooh, I'm sorry.
Let's see, I was going to say, I give the defense some love, too. You got Evil Twin, you got Colette Razorcats up there.
Yep.
Gnarly Quinn and Dolly Spartan really giving it all up on defense here. Hugs and Stitches got dumped off to the infield and has now got up to reestablish.
Yeah, again, a great defensive effort here.
Yeah, the Brutal Beauties really standing stout here on the penalty kill. Only 5 seconds left in the power jam, and Hugs and Stitches is going to hand off that star, which is, you don't often see that in the last several seconds of a power jam, and Hugs and Stitches is heading back to the bench rather slowly, so I would say that took a real physical toll on Stitches that time. So ends up being 0-point power jam, no points. Excellent defensive effort by the Brutal Beauties. Check your bingo card. And I need to be quiet for a moment. All right, so had to step aside momentarily. Jam ref Meryl Streak and I in the Sky Lumbre de la Luna, we're up here discussing the score, have confirmed. Excellent defensive effort, no points on the power jam by the Coffin Draggers. So the Brutal Beauties standing strong. We've got 5:20 to go until halftime. Wanted to remind you once again, those raffle tickets, they're coming on around with those raffle tickets. Your prize raffle is $1 a piece or 6 for $5. Cash raffle, half goes to the winner, half we're donating to Reverend Knuckleface tonight. Cash raffle is 1 for $5 or 3 for $10. What a deal.
And on the jammer line, we've got Skeletori for the Beautiful Beauties, and we've got Strange, number 666, for the Draggers. And Skeletori is already out, just as I was saying that.
Yeah, Tori found an opening right off the gun there and was able to get right through the pack. Strange now looking for an opening, kind of runs into some people.
Skeletori looking for an opening there. The Beauties are really doing a nice job at holding that back, making some space for Skeletori to come through.
Yeah, I saw it. Wow, a couple blockers there. Kituation just sort of threw her shoulder in front of in front of Strange, and Tori gets through, finishes a scoring pass, and will be coming around for some more with 22 seconds left on the jam clock. Strange now
fights their way
there you
through.
go.
Yeah.
Strange able to get by Gypsy Danger there in the front end of the pack. So now on a scoring pass, here comes Skeletori, second scoring pass for the Brutal Beauties, and trying to get past Olive, has to get back up, reestablish, and call it off. I believe she still got that point. Once you get past a skater, if they go back by you, you don't lose the point.
And
So
it's got to
I
be
am-
their hips, right? You got to get
Yeah,
past
hip in
their
front-
hips for
hip
the new
in front of
people.
hip, yeah. All right, so it was 9 points. Tori did get that point. However, it is going to be another power jam. We got another jammer penalty assessed to the Brutal Beauties. This is going to be the 5th power jam of the first half for the Coffin Draggers. This is where they have made their hay on these power jams. Outside of the power jams, it really has been a very closely fought defensive struggle. So, Coffin Draggers once again are going to keep taking these if offered, and there goes Murder Mittens along the inside. Murder Mittens already out and clear.
Beauties are going to try to group there in the pack and see if they can go ahead and slow them down a little bit. And that doesn't happen.
Murder Mittens tiptoeing through the turn and takes a couple of running steps, not quite a coping jump, but sort of just a
little dance.
Yeah, a little dance.
Little dance.
Little dance. And now weaves along the inside, gets past JJ trying to close the door.
That was beautiful. A little
pass.
spin
Very
move,
much
some
so,
backward
yeah.
skating.
They've got that skater for the Brutal Beauties goaded at the back of the pack, and now Murder Mittens able to tiptoe by once again. Just gets by JJ, just going fast enough to get right through there. There's 10 seconds left in this Coffin Draggers Power Jam. Murder Mittens is going to, again, just wave those hips and get by. Excellent gymnastic ability on all 4 of those scoring passes. We're going to check from the infield.
Absolutely.
And we once again have double headlights, 20-point Power Jam for Murder Mittens and the Coffin Draggers.
I think that deserves a little bit of a cheer from our Draggers fans. What do you say? 20 points, yes?
Coffin Draggers have hit 100 squarely on the nose with about 2:30 to go until halftime. On the jammer line for the Draggers is going to be All of You Die.
And then we got Bitch Please for the Beauties, who's making a run for it right out of the gate.
Yeah, you saw right off the gun there, the Brutal Beauties just kind of shoved Rickety Bones out of the way. Bitch Please now is going to be catching up to the pack. Olive's out as well. Bitch Please is going to get by those last blockers, stay upright, and calls it off. Kind of able to get past both of those blockers. Olive comes skidding in late. 4 more points for the Brutal Beauties there. And the Beauties are going to send Evil Twin to the jammer line.
And the Draggers are sending a Strange, 666.
Just under 2 minutes to go until halftime. 100-43 right now. Evil Twin trying to cling, and just could not quite hold on to the inside coping there, but just sort of works her way along the inside of the pack and gets clear.
Still our lead jammer.
Very much so.
Strange is out, though, and hot on the trail. Evil Twin kind of weaving their way in and out.
And Twin calls it off, approaching the front of the pack. We'll have to see how many skaters she was able to get by. Picks up 3 points, up to the really nice score of 46. Yay!
We've got All of You Die on the jammer line for the Draggers, and it looks like Bitch Please for the Beauties.
Under a minute to go until halftime, so this hypothetically could be the last jam of the first half. We'll have to see.
Olive's out. Bitch Please looking at a little bit of opposition there towards the back of the pack. Trying to find a hole there to get through.
Olive now catching up and just going to go right through, barely touched. Just kind of waited for an opening and got through. Remy Ruckus with a huge block on Bitch Please there, who is now still trying to get out. Olive coming around for her second scoring pass, and Bitch Please is going to get through those 2 blockers and get clear. So Olive finishes off that second scoring pass and calls it off, leaving time on the clock for another jam.
Jamming again for the Draggers is Strange.
And that's going to be Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties. That was a 9-point jam there for the Coffin Draggers. We're just about ready to go. Quarter clock has expired, so this does take us up to halftime. Late penalty filtering in. Coffin Draggers are going to lose a blocker. And there we go, underway.
Gypsy Danger was trying to go high there. Looks like they're made it out of the pack doing so. Strange at the back trying to find a section to slip through there. Gypsy Danger coming around for those points. Looks like we had another star pass.
Another star pass again. Coffin draggers are not—they're not just utilizing it; they're using it well.
Absolutely.
They're
This is
using
this
it
is very strategic.
Very,
Yes.
very well, and you can tell it's a concerted thing they've been working on. They're executing it extremely well.
Absolutely.
4 points for the Brutal Beauties to close things out here in the first half. Second quarter comes to a close. Your score right now, 109 to 50. Coffin draggers are in front. Once again, we've got another half of Derby action in this bout, and then the Runaway Brides versus the Bombshells coming up at about 7:30 or so. We'll step aside for 15 minutes and begin our halftime break. All right, Derby fans, we are ready to go in the second half. Get to your jammers really quick, but I want to kind of refresh on the safety rules. It's getting crowded in here. Your jammers for this first jam of the second half, that's going to be Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties, and that is Antifa, your captain, jamming for the first time for the Coffin Draggers. Antifa right down along the inside is going to get right to the front. Skeletori's out as well with the pursuit.
I believe this is the first time we've seen Tifa.
That is correct.
Yeah.
This is Tifa's first time jamming. Gets through, gets your standard 4, and calls it off. All right, fans, we wanted to remind you here in attendance at the arena, please make sure that you stand behind that yellow line around the track during game action at all times, unless you are, of course, a photographer, etc., etc. If you know you're allowed to stand over there, then you'll know. So stay behind that yellow line for safety. We've had 2 track excursion events this year, so don't get kicked in the back of the head. And then don't forget no whistling. And don't forget, skaters get priority for the bathroom line. We just wanted to touch on that since it is getting rather crowded in here.
And back to the jam.
That's right.
We've got Murder Mittens, who is out for the Draggers. And let's see, I believe it was Joliet Jane.
That's right. JJ putting the star back on for the Brutal Beauties. So now coming along the inside, Murder Mittens with a full head of steam gets by a couple of blockers for the Brutal Beauties and calls it off. Suki and I have been commenting as the second quarter was going on that we've seen a lot of star passes. The Coffin Draggers are using it as an actual strategic thing that they're doing right off the top, and it's been very successful in helping them get both lead jam and get the pursuit jammer out throughout this bout.
And on the jammer line for the Beauties, we've got Dolly Spartan and number 96, All of You Die for the Draggers.
And Dolly Spartan tiptoeing along the inside is able to get clear for the Brutal Beauties.
Beauties did a nice job of trying to hold Olive back, but they are out.
There goes Dolly Spartan, finishing off that scoring pass, and we'll call it off. 4 points for the Brutal Beauties. All of You Die. Once again, I don't know if anybody is just joining us, but if you're coming into us here at in a Los Angeles Lakers style leisurely drift into the game after the second half, then can definitely say All of You Die has jammed a whole lot for the Coffin Draggers, as has this skater, Hugs and Stitches, and
Evil Twin too.
That's right, Evil Twin. Both teams are really sending up a primary rotation of 3 or 4 jammers, and that's been about it. And primarily the score for the Coffin Draggers has been power jam based. The Brutal Beauties have only had 2 power jams. The Coffin Draggers have had 6. And that's kind of been the major difference in the scoring here. Otherwise, it's been a very, very tightly fought, hard fought battle down there in the blocker pack. Hugs and Stitches now rocketing through at the back of the pack, not giving up the pursuit as Evil Twin. Evil Twin doesn't get any points on the back end. Stitches puts 2 up for the Coffin Draggers.
And on the line, it looks like we've got Skeletori for the Beauties. And
that's your captain. That's captain on captain. That's Antifa for the Coffin Draggers. And then around the outside, there goes Skeletori, lead jammer once again for the Brutal Beauties.
Antifa's out. Skeletori looking to collect some points here, keeping their eye on Tifa though, and calls it off.
Yeah, you saw Tori kind of trying to spin around and get that hip in front of at least one skater, and was not able to. No points for either side. Got another first-time jammer at the jammer line now. That's going to be number 2011, Colette Razorcat for the Brutal Beauties.
And for the Draggers, somebody we've seen quite a bit this evening, number 23, Murder Mittens.
So Colette now is trying to find an opening. Is really just going to try, and is able to do so. Just got those front 2 blockers going backwards and is able to get him out of play. So Colette Razorcat is your lead jammer for the Brutal Beauties. Putting the star back on as Murder Mittens and remaining the jammer. And Colette Razorcat was not able to signal it off in time and racing by along the inside as Murder Mittens takes over as lead jammer for the Coffin Draggers. Now going to catch up to the pack, is going to weave through and finish off a second scoring pass. Colette Razorcat takes off after to try to cap this at a third scoring attempt for Murder Mittens. Coffin Draggers are able to get Colette Razorcat kind of pulled up into the back of the pack there, and then were able to keep her attention diverted from the inbound Murder Mittens. So Colette Razorcat gets those 4 points from that one scoring pass. And we will check on the score for the Coffin Draggers. It was just flashed up by Chase and Voorhees. That's 13 for the Coffin Draggers.
And for the Draggers, we've got number 96, All of You Die, and Skeletori for the Beauties.
Skeletori up towards the front of the pack, and Tori has also snatched off the star. I don't think that's much of a secret now that both teams are going to be doing that frequently. Trying to fight through the pack, one of them has it. I'm not certain who. And All of You Die spun off along the infield right behind that post that really likes to block our vision of stuff. Meanwhile, All of You Die is going to get bumped to the inside, but is able to push on past Honey Trap and get clear. We've got a star pass, and Dolly Spartan has taken over as jammer for the Brutal Beauties.
But Olive's making their way through the pack, calls it off before Dolly gets a chance.
So 4 points for the Coffin Draggers. Action continues on. There's going to be a timeout, actually. The action does not continue on. So we got a team timeout, and the Brutal Beauties are going to use their first second half timeout. So with 8:49 to go in the third quarter, it's Coffin Draggers 136, Brutal Beauties 58.
And we've got another way for you to kind of help out this evening. We want to share a community-based Arizona Gives page. All proceeds go back into the program. This Arizona Gives Day, Excel is celebrating by giving you the chance to change the life of a student. Get excited and join us as we make this year's Gives Day the best one yet. Ms. Victoria's community-based classroom not only focuses on academics, but also vocational jobs on and off campus. In this program, all of the students have a food handler's card, which allows them to work in the school's cafe, preparing student and staff lunches, as well as work at the register. Students really focus on their next steps after school and exploring different jobs, so check them out.
Don't forget to keep following those bingo cards. Those bingo cards are at the raffle table. You can follow along for a chance to spin the prize wheel yourself. Once you make a bingo, those cards are free. Keep listening for things that the announcers say. Look for game action. If you have any questions, let us know. Chance to go over there and spin the big old prize wheel. Once again, back to the action. That is going to be Hugs and Stitches for the Coffin Draggers.
And Evil Twin for the Beauties. Pack looks really determined and focused there.
There's a jammer on jammer hit heading up to the pack. Evil Twin tries to get Hugs and Stitches blocked off to the inside. Check your bingo card around the outside. There goes Evil Twin.
Hugs and Stitches still working at the back of the pack there while Evil Twin's coming up pretty quick.
Stitches is able to kind of find an opening there along the inside to get out to try to keep this to one scoring attempt for Evil Twin.
Evil Twin collects a few points there, prevents Hugs and Stitches from making it through, and calls it off.
So 4 points for the Brutal Beauties. Just about 8 minutes to go until the end of the third quarter. This is going to be Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties.
And All of You Die for the Draggers. Couple of frequent jammers here.
Yeah, indeed. As we'd mentioned before, it seems like both teams have kind of settled into a very, very tight rotation of jammers.
Well, I have to say that's probably pretty strategic. I mean, these are definitely some important games, so.
Right. That's right. As we'd mentioned before, these four teams that are playing tonight are all our four playoff teams, so they're going to come back on April 20th in some fashion. And these games tonight are all for playoff seeding. Meanwhile, Skeletori is out for the Brutal Beauties. All of You Die is putting the pressure on now. I'd feel confident in saying that Olive's one of our faster skaters in the league.
Absolutely.
I would believe so.
That's why she jams all the time.
Yeah, well, there you go. Jump in the Twitch chat if you're watching this and you're a league fan. Hop in the Twitch chat, say who you think that your fastest skaters are. I got Olive, I got Hollywood, I think.
Cherry.
Cherry, extremely fast, yeah.
And you'll see Cherry later on tonight, from what I understand.
That's right. Cherry will be here later. So, yeah, like I said, always hop in the Twitch chat and let me know how wrong I am. Meanwhile, that's what Twitch is good at. Twitch chats are really good at letting you know how wrong you are. Fighting around the outside now and taking lead jam for the Draggers is going to be Murder Mittens.
But there goes Dolly Spartan. This is definitely a jammer race.
This is definitely a jammer race. So Murder Mittens is out to the front. We got some skaters down at the back of the pack. Here comes Murder Mittens. Tries to get along the inside and emphatically calls it off after getting past that first skater at the back of the pack. And let's see. 1 point.
And it looks like we got on the jammer line for the Beauties, the Kitchuation, which is, I believe, their first time jamming. And we've got 616 for the Draggers, which
That's
is
Antifa,
their
yeah.
captain.
So Kitch is going to fight around a couple of people at the front of the pack. And that blocker came off the track. When the blocker knocks you down off the track, then they are considered to be out of play and you're able to get on through. So the Kitchuation is your lead jammer for the Brutal Beauties.
Kitchuation's looking to collect some points here while Tifa's coming around the bend. Kitchuation kind of bumping, calls it off before Tifa has a chance to collect.
1 pink, black 0.
All right, just 1 point there for the Brutal Beauties.
And we should not be too surprised at this. We've got Evil Twin for the Beauties and Hugs and Stitches for the Coffin Draggers.
That is correct. We just got a little more than 5 minutes to go till the end of the third quarter.
Ooh, lots of bumping there.
Yeah. Oh, Evil Twin was almost clear and got tangled up with Bedbugs Bunny and kind of went down in a heap, twisting as she went
Hugs
down.
and Stitches is definitely on the go here.
Yeah, Stitches is out and clear for the Coffin Draggers now.
Looks like we have a little bit of jammer defense from the Beauties. While Hugs and Stitches is trying to push through, but those two Beauties back there are doing a pretty good job of stopping them.
Yeah, the
Very
pack
slow
is-
moving
yeah, I was
pack.
going to say the
dense.
pack is ground to a stop right here heading into the corner, and finally Stitches is able to fight their way through.
Really nice defensive effort, though.
That's right. So there's 10 seconds left in the jam now, and there goes Tori getting out as well. So now Stitches is going to try to catch up to the pack. 3 seconds, 2, 1 second, and it's going to get up there and get around that last skater, so at least get 1 point. Plus, I don't see anybody in the penalty box. No. All right. Action continues on. Not a lot of breaks in the action so far tonight. Not a lot of timeouts, only one challenge.
No.
Yeah,
It's been
so
very fast moving.
All the way through. Coffin Draggers 143, Brutal Beauties 63. Just under 4 minutes to go in the quarter.
And we've got Olive for the Draggers and Skeletori for the Beauties.
Oh, we're going to have a timeout before
We
anything
jinxed
else.
it.
Oh, my goodness. That is always how it happens. It's an official timeout. That's an OTO. All right, we'll step aside for a timeout. Once again, 143.63 right at the moment. We'd like to let you know about some more of our longtime league sponsors, such as Copper Star Coffee. Locally owned coffee shop and cafe providing hand-blended drinks and award-winning baked goods. Visit them on the southwest corner of 7th Avenue in Heatherbray. That's just north of Indian School on 7th Avenue, right in the middle of the Melrose Curve. Delicious coffee, tea, muffins, and their incredible homemade bagels every day. Copper Star Coffee. You've seen it. It's right there on 7th Avenue. It's right by Boycott where the after party is, and it's a little vintage gas station, and it is absolutely wonderful. Their caprese sandwich is delicious. I mean, everybody raves about the bagels, but get that caprese sandwich. It is wonderful. Anyhow, that's Copper Star Coffee. Good thing I invoked a challenge, too. So now the Brutal Beauties are going to use their second half challenge. See if this one has any more success than the one in the first half. So we will find out what is being challenged and the outcome thereof momentarily.
While they do their challenge, I'm going to talk to you about Sidewalk Surfer. They have a large selection of roller skates and skate accessories. They build custom skates and service all brands. Open 10 to 8 Monday through Saturday and 10 to 6 on Sundays, located at 2602 North Scottsdale Road in Scottsdale.
And also, fans, if you're having a good time tonight, we wanted to let you know about our next bout. That's going to be our playoffs. These same 4 teams, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, are going to be our playoff teams, and we're determining seeding tonight. That's going to be April 20th right here at the Hall of Dames at 5 p.m. first whistle. And you know, as we always love to say, we love our sister leagues here as well. We are the only make track league here in Arizona, but there are flat track leagues all over the place, all over the state, let alone there's 4 different leagues in Phoenix. They're all around. There's one in Queen Creek. There's one in Mesa. There's one that has bouts out in Peoria. So look up around you. There's Arizona Roller Derby. There is Phoenix Roller Derby. There is Arizona Skate Club. There's Arizona Roller Girls. That's the 4 I can think of off the top of my head, and that's not even including like Casa Grande and everything else around us. Up north, High Altitude Roller Derby in Flagstaff. Prescott's got Roller Derby. Seek out roller derby around you. It is the ultimate egalitarian sport. It does not matter what size, shape, or amount of skating you can do. If you are able to roll, they will work with you. As I say, look at the skaters out there. They're all different shapes and sizes. Not everybody is out there super muscular and running through a brick wall. You've got skaters that excel at finding small openings and getting through them. So everybody has a place in a roller derby team. So if you ever wonder, could I do that? The answer is yes. You should look up roller derby near you. And also here at the Derby Dames, we also have league tryouts. Currently no tryouts scheduled. I believe we have something posted on our league page right now. Yeah, there was just one too, so we'll have some footage from that shortly. As I said, that's for our league, but flat track again is easier for leagues to set up because you really can just kind of put tape on a basketball court at its most basic and have a flat track. So it is easy to kind of make it more portable and can be more accessible for smaller leagues, things along those lines. You don't have to have an arena and a permanently set up track. At any rate, yeah, like I said, just kind of waxing on it here for a moment while they come up to tell us. But seek out roller derby near you. It is close to you. Trust us. We have an overturn. That's a successful challenge by the Brutal Beauties. Low block on number 925 Evil Twin has been overturned. The Brutal Beauties get back their second half challenge now since it was successful.
And the Beauties are excited about that, and Beauties fans should also be excited about that too.
This is correct. Thank
Let's
you.
hear it. Yeah, people in pink over there. Come on. Woo!
We get back to the action. Does anybody have a fan-made sign? Does anybody have a custom fan-made sign tonight? Well, that would have been an easy bingo. Hey, look at that. Everybody look quick. Meanwhile, I don't know what it says. It just has
That's
to be
a
a fan-made
bombshell
sign.
sign.
Is it?
That's for
Okay.
our next
See,
bout.
I can't see that far.
I can see it. Bombshells. There we go.
Oh, it's got a bomb on it.
Yes.
That's what I can tell.
Yes.
See, it's great to have the person with the worst eyesight in the arena also be the announcer. That's, Meanwhile, fighting through the pack is Skeletori for the Brutal Beauties. That's All of You Die for the Coffin Draggers.
Olive got pushed out. It looked like maybe, but then's back. Skeletori's coming around, but Olive is still moving quick. Skeletori making good work of the pack there and calls it off. Collects her points and says, I'm done.
Tori just kind of ricocheted off the rail and calls it off. So 4 more for the Brutal Beauties. Up to the jammer line for the Beauties is number 9 Mark III, Gypsy Danger.
And number 23 for the Draggers, Murder Mittens. We got the all clear, and there they go. Gypsy Danger's kind of trying to slip around there. Murder Mittens is fighting through the pack. Again, a really tight pack. Things are starting to loosen up a little bit, though.
And there goes Gypsy fighting out of the pack to the cheer from the Brutal Beauties bench. And now taking over as jammer for the Coffin Draggers is number 333, Bedbugs Bunny.
Another star pass.
That's right, another star pass by the Coffin Draggers. And there's Gypsy up into the pack and calls it off. An interesting subplot to tonight, Suki, is that some of these teams, depending on how the playoffs shake out, literally we could come back next bout in 3 weeks with the same teams facing each other.
That would be so fun.
And so there really becomes like a chess match of maybe not showing your whole hand tonight.
Absolutely.
So honestly, one of the more full-time jammers for the Coffin Draggers is Ricky D. Bones, and I cannot help but notice that Bones has only played defense tonight.
Interesting.
Right, things like that.
Yeah.
So I think there is some gamespersonship going on to a slight amount, since all 4 of these teams know they're coming back next week, basically.
That's true.
I'm very amused by things like that when you see things heading into playoffs in any sport. Meanwhile, that is All of You Die. Excuse me, that's not. That is Antifa.
Antifa and I think Skeletori? Did I? No.
Yeah,
Wait.
let's see. At the front of the pack, they're trying to. That's the pivot. Is Joliet Jane, and that is going to be Skeletori
There
putting
we
the
go.
star back on.
I kind of lost track of what was going on there with the star passes.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I thought that was Olive, but not tan enough.
Well, I think we're so used to seeing all of that.
That's also true. Everybody's okay at the back of the pack. Excellent pursuit there by Tori to force the call off. They're still checking on the score for the Draggers.
Another couple we're used to seeing, Evil Twin and Hugs and Stitches for the
All right.
Draggers. Did I just see
Okay.
a flag thrown?
Well, you know what? Well, we'll have to see. I don't know. Maybe I can't officially comment on that. Oh, apparently they could not. No. We did not see a flag thrown, and that's all I know about that situation.
Okay.
I am no longer permitted to speak it. Yeah, Hugs and Stitches to turn around and shrug too. So if Stitches doesn't know, I'm going to safely say I don't know either.
I saw it on the ground. I saw somebody pick it up,
Yeah,
and that was it.
that was it. Yeah, no. So that'll just have to go on as unknown. It looked like the Draggers were trying to challenge, but it may have been after the break period. That may have been something
Okay.
too. At any rate, regardless now, it does not matter.
Right. Evil Twins on the move, out of the
Evil Twin-
pack,
yeah,
lead jammer.
Lead jammer.
Hugs and Stitches in the pack.
And we have a coping jump. Look out for that coping jump. Check your bingo card.
Love
there
that.
goes Evil Twin. Getting out now and putting the star back on us, Hugs and Stitches. They're trying to fight through gets knocked off the track, but the
Oh.
blocker came off as well. So Evil Twin gets up and casually calls it off with Hugs and Stitches coming in from behind. We've got time for one more jam in this quarter. All right, that was 9 points for the Brutal Beauties. I was waiting there as they sorted out the scoring, and we're gonna head into the quarter break with a Brutal Beauties Power Jam. Let's hear it from the Beauties fans. That's right. Chance for the Beauties to really put some points on the board here. No time on the quarter clock, so we got 60 free seconds of Derby heading into the quarter break, and it's Skeletori for the Beauties. All of You Die is ostensibly the GOAT at the back of the pack, but played great defense.
Tori makes it out. Veteran jammer, knows what they're doing. Coming around to get some points for their team.
Yeah, you can see this is a huge opportunity for the Brutal Beauties because the Coffin Draggers only have 2 blockers. And the Brutal Beauties have a full complement thereof. So once again, check that bingo card for a blocker and two blockers and a jammer in the penalty box.
Yeah,
There's
this is
20
an excellent opportunity for the Beauties to pick up some
Absolutely.
points.
20 seconds now left in the power jam. Maximum Overdrive is going to kind of be a fullback and clear the way for Skeletori. 11 seconds left for number 011. The bench is telling Tori to get on around. All of You Die is pinned at the back. We got 4 seconds. Here comes Tori. She'll get 4 points if she can get by Olive, and does. Once again, if you're new to Derby, when you pass the skater at the back of the pack, you also get all the penalty box points too. So that was a 4-point skater to get by for Tori and a 14-point power jam for the Brutal Beauties. All right. Well, that is going to take us up to, it would appear, there we go. Our game executioner, GG, is going to step out. We got a quarter break. All right. As we said one more time, 149.92, the Coffin Draggers in front.
We do not want your Saturday ruined by getting towed or getting ticketed. So we've got 3 cars that need to move ASAP. Silver Subaru Ascent, black Subaru Baja, and a gray Nissan Rogue. If one of those cars is yours, please go move it. We really don't want to ruin your night. Thanks.
Yeah, just to touch on that, let's clarify. Those 3 cars are parked. If you can see me in the arena, I'm waving over here at the announcer's nest. Where that mural is, there's 3 cars parked along the fence that kind of is this back here in the turnaround before you see the interstate. If you're parked back there, you absolutely must go move. That was those 3 cars we just announced. If you parked up against the chain link fence kind of in the middle of a roadway, that's you. So just to give everybody, it's really important. We don't want to make our other tenants here in our complex upset by things like that. We would really appreciate it.
And we're back. Skeletori and Murder Mittens jammer race to start us out.
That's right. Murder Mittens is out there. Skeletori is up for the chase and is really keeping kind of drafting behind her heading down the front straight. A big collision there and somebody off onto the infield. And Murder Mittens calls it off, approaching the pack.
And we've got number 666 Strange back on the jammer line for the Draggers, and
it's the Kitchuation,
it's
number
a Kitchuation.
19. That's right. So trivia fact, Kitchuation, Kitch, was the first captain of the Doomsday Valkyries.
Oh,
and that's why I
okay.
started coming to Bank Track, was because of Kitch. I followed Kitch over from ACRD.
Oh, nice.
And so that's how I started watching Bank Track and became a Valkyries fan. And then Kitch was away from Derby and came back and is now on the Brutal Beauties, as you see. Meanwhile, there goes Strange for the Coffin Draggers. And Strange is out and clear. Coffin Draggers are trying to protect that lead at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like all of you die, and oh, was that? I cannot see who that was, but they were putting up a pretty nice resistance for Kitchuation there.
So Strange is out. Strange is kind of trying to look around and get a gauge on what's going on. We've got
Kitchuation looks like they're actually joining in on the defense there, knocked Strange off onto the infield.
Yeah, there's 6 seconds left. Strange is going to get up and call it off. And let's see, we've got the symbol for double jammer down, and what that means is there's penalties on both jammers, so neither team loses their jammer, both teams lose a blocker instead. At least that's what they were signaling. There we go. I was going to say the Brutal Beauties were where they had a jammer penalty. Now they get to pick up a jammer, so Evil Twin ran out and grabbed a star cover, so it's Evil Twin for the Beauties.
And I think that double jammer down is an item on your bingo card, so you may want to check that out.
That's right, check your bingo card, double jammer down.
And it looks like we've got Murder Mittens for the Draggers and Evil Twin for the Beauties.
That's right.
And away they go.
And Twin up to the high side and just kind of give a little okey-doke to Remy Ruckus and gets around. Twin is out and clear. Murder Mittens now. Twin checks over her shoulder and sees Murder Mittens. Twin's got about a quarter of a track advantage. Is going to try to catch up now and get by those back skaters. Runs right squarely up into Remy Ruckus, and Remy just kind of absorbed that hit. Wow, excellent. By Remy Ruckus just sort of turned the back right into Evil Twin's face and just, yeah, well. I could talk about Remy Ruckus defense all night long, so don't even get me started.
Well, defense in general has just been spectacular tonight. So
I love the ones down there in the trenches that are taking the hard hits and making the jammers look good. We've got a power jam. All of you die comes on down off the track. It's going to be a power jam for the Brutal Beauties.
There you go, Beauties. It's a power jam.
And it's Dolly Spartan. Who better to do it? Dolly usually skates with the Schoolyard Scrappers and is helping the Beauties fill their roster tonight. He's going to try to push those blockers just out of the way, runs around the outside and gets clear. Kind of went up to the high side of Zora LaBruja and used Zora to shield her from the other blocker trying to get her.
And Dolly's another one of our fast jammers, too. We were talking about that earlier.
It's a full complement of blockers out there right now. There's 4 and 4. The only skater missing is the jammer for the Coffin Draggers.
And Draggers doing a nice job holding Dolly back. They do manage to kind of get around, but it looks like
Yep.
looks
Dolly
like
did the-
Strange was putting up some resistance there at the front of the pack.
Very excellent defense, and I saw Tifa down here as well. Yeah, as you know, part of Power Jam defense is just slowing, not necessarily stopping. And if you can keep them to 2 passes, you've done pretty okay.
Absolutely.
You want to keep from giving up like a 15 or a 20 burger. We've got 2 seconds left, and as we mentioned, again, the Coffin Draggers are just kind of trying to slow up, bump off the track, and otherwise frustrate. 9-point Power Jam for the Brutal Beauties. Brutal Beauties are topped up over 100 for the bout. 157-101, and we would call that pretty much I'd say a push. I'd say 9, anything between 5 and 10, I would say, if you're able to stop them on the second scoring pass. So, lost a blocker once again. Coffin Draggers are in front. The lead is 56 with 10:30 to go, and that is certainly not out of the realm of possibility.
And
However-
Skeletori takes a little bit of a fall there at the back of the pack.
Yeah, Skeletori gets knocked down. The Coffin Draggers are doing exactly what they need to do, which is to get Lee Jammer and control the pace of play. The Coffin Draggers would be perfectly content to score about 16 more points for the rest of this bout.
Murder Mittens goes down too.
Wowzers. I mean, literally left the skates and came down all on the coccyx, right on the tailbone. That is going to smart tomorrow.
Careful how you say that word.
No, I very careful enunciation. I don't want to get a TOS strike from Twitch. I didn't say that word you thought I said. Meanwhile, it's number 9, Mark III, Gypsy Danger.
And all of you die for the Draggers, number 96.
And Olive's going to get out and clear once again for the Draggers.
Gypsy Danger trying to get through the pack there at the back, while Olive's going to move around for a scoring pass. Gypsy Danger's out. Olive's collecting some points there.
Yeah, Olive bumped off to the infield. Is going to get up to reestablish. Bunch of skaters taking a hit. Olive still trying to kind of finagle through and get those points and ends up calling it off. Yeah, really, the Draggers aren't adopting any kind of a strategy here. It's sort of like, I'll analogize this to football. In football, you see a lot of teams trying to protect the league, and they go to a prevent defense, which is to say they kind of get real soft on their defense and try to keep from giving up big plays. And it never fails. The team that's behind just kind of hacks back into it and takes what they're being given. The Draggers have not shipped. That's what you're supposed to do, is not change what you did that gave you a 2-touchdown lead in the first place.
Right.
And that's what the Draggers are doing right now, which is just kind of still doing what they've done and have basically slowly built that lead. It was about 20 and then about 40, and now it's about 60. It's just slowly
Staying
built up.
the course.
Absolutely. You can see that. You can kind of see the whole overarching strategy from both teams during the game.
Yeah.
So, and the Draggers have been out there again with things like the star passes. It's just fun to see things like this develop over a 60-minute bout.
And it looks like we have a team timeout, I think, for the Beauties,
Yeah,
if
the
I'm not
Brutal
mistaken.
Beauties
Thank you
have
very much.
taken their last team timeout. That'll give us a chance to talk about a couple of sponsors real quick before this gets back to going.
Yeah, let's talk about Siphon Draw. Siphon Draw Apothecary Shop is all natural, non-toxic, handcrafted skin products made by our very own Dolly de los Muertos. Forgive my Spanish. Visit siphondraw.com for their incredible products.
That's right. Dolly is out there right now, a member of our regulators. I just got out my giant lip balm, my liquid lizard lips. I use Siphon Draw products. I have a Lost Dutchman tattoo. I'm a walking billboard for our sponsors.
Well, you were the one that turned me on to their, what is it, lizard lips?
Yeah, that's what I said.
The lip
liquid
balm.
lizard
Yeah,
lips.
no, really good.
Wonderful.
Really, really good.
Meanwhile, back to the action. We got 9 minutes to go until the end of regulation. That's Evil Twin for the Beauties, and Twin's out. Twin
And
was able-
Murder Mittens, I think, is our jammer for the Draggers, trying to push through some Beauties back there. But
Yeah.
Evil Twin's coming around hot.
Yeah, Beauties really took a second to kind of talk this over, and it looks like they've now fighting their way through. Oh, sliding, coming to a stop, sliding on their hands and knee pads is Evil Twin.
Thank goodness for those knee pads.
I seriously couldn't quite see, and all I heard was, and then here comes Evil Twin. I was like, what in the world was that? And Twin calls it off. Murder Mittens coming in from behind. So we've got just over 8 minutes to go, and I'm going to safely say the Brutal Beauties have no quit in them whatsoever.
No.
They came out of that timeout guns a-blazing. 1 second. right? And I actually did just, while they were discussing that score, I took a moment to put a fresh coating of liquid lizard lips on. So I'm serious. It really is wonderful stuff. Everything I've gotten from there is great. All right. 164-104, 3 hard-fought points for the Brutal Beauties. 8:01 to go in regulation. That is Skeletori.
And all of you die out there again.
So it's key for the Beauties to get lead jammer, and they do, but Olive's going to get out right behind, and Tori has to call it off. Yeah, that was a jammer race that nobody wanted a part of.
Looks like Skeletori and Olive had a little laugh over that one. Skeletori's like, nah.
So it's going to be Evil Twin. And we've got, starting off on the jammer line, I believe for the first time, is Bedbugs Bunny.
Yes.
Taken over as jammer a few times. We're starting to get to where penalties, I believe, are becoming a situation, because I'm looking down at the bench right now, and there's really 3 people down there for the Brutal Beauties. So the Beauties it's beginning to become a war of attrition. Lead jammer is Evil Twin, which is what the Beauties need to do.
But here comes Bugs.
Yeah, here comes Bugs as well, which is what the Draggers need to do, is try to keep the Beauties from breaking off any large chunks of points. Evil Twin's going to get up and try to get in front of a couple of people and call it off. Yeah, I'm definitely going to say I think there's more skaters down there for the Draggers, at least from what I can see. I think they've got more reinforcements, but we're going to be seeing a lot of skaters coming out and skating every jam. As we go on here, it's still 6:40 to go in regulation, and as I said, I mean, there's only like 2 skaters down there for the Beauties getting ready to come back out.
Yeah, it's looking a little lean down there.
So a lot of penalties. You get 7 penalties you foul out in bank track for a full-length bout, and that is all of you die, and Olive's going to get out.
And Gypsy's coming up right behind.
That's right. So both teams are getting both jammers out. Olive's going to try to get through, get those points, and call this off. He's going to run up into the front of the pack and then call it off. So that's what the Draggers want to do. The Draggers want to run this clock, keep burning as much time off this clock as they can, and not let any funny business happen. Because if you're new to the sport, we haven't even told you about penalty jams yet. I'll try to get to that in a moment. But that almost led to one of the strangest upsets of the tournament back during Chingadera, was penalty jams.
Yes.
Yes. So Evil Twin once again for the Brutal Beauties with just under 6 minutes to go.
And Murder Mittens for the Draggers, who gets pushed off onto the infield but is back. Evil Twin trying to make their way through the pack and does, becomes lead jammer.
Yeah, Evil Twin really took a shot from Bedbugs Bunny and just kind of absorbed it and pushed on through. Murder Mittens out as well to keep the pressure on. So once again,
Gypsy's trying to collect a few points here before calling it off.
Gypsy gets through and gets all 4 of those. Draggers again, more than happy to just bleed more time off the clock, and if they surrender 4, it is not going to ruin their night. So now it's going to be Colette Razorcat jamming for the Brutal Beauties for the second time.
And all of you die for the Draggers.
All of you die for the Willet. They have 58 jams. I think all of us jammed 54, I believe.
I'd say that's pretty fair.
Yeah, more or less. So underway we go. Nobody in the penalty box for the Brutal Beauties, so they've got a rather full pack out there. Colette Razorcat's trying to find an opening. It's just kind of swatting blockers out of the way.
Yeah,
Olive
Olive's
gets
down.
dumped to the track.
Now Razorcat is down. Lots of bumping bodies.
Oh, what a hit. My goodness. Oh, the crowd just heard that. Olive just got delivered to the infield more quickly than your DoorDash. Wow. And taking off is Dolly Spartan. That
Star
was Dolly
pass.
that delivered the pain and then just took off because she had the star the whole time. Olive's going to tiptoe past and get past Gypsy Danger. So here comes Dolly Spartan to score some points on top of that exclamation point.
Beauties did a nice job giving Dolly the space to collect those points too.
And Dolly calls it off. Yeah, that was a grade A hit there in the back straightaway. That was one of those. Olive kind of flew through the air and hit the ground on her shoulder blades. Yeah, so that's one of those derby kind of hits. Meanwhile, it ended up being 4 points for Dolly there as a jammer and not a blocker. We've got an OPR they're checking on here, so we'll see if there's going to be a timeout. A bunch of skaters running around. Here comes another one of the regulators, and it's an awkward break between songs. You know, it's fun as running lights and sound at a theater and having an awkward break between songs when you're introducing a troupe. There it is. It's going to be an official timeout, as we likely suggested. When you have as many people sprinting around the track like that, that does tend to happen. So in OTO, again, that was 4 points for the Beauties. We've got 3:32 to go in regulation. Coffin Draggers are in front, 166-114, trying to close the door on this one. As we said about penalty jams, we'll get to that before we read a couple of sponsor spots. Penalty jam is at the end of regulation, if the team that is ahead does not get any penalties, excuse me, let me reverse that. If the team that is behind does not get any penalties and the team that is ahead does get penalties, then we'll have what's called a penalty jam, and it's an untimed jam and has the same rules as any jam. The same thing happens at the end of it. What I had referenced was at Chingadera, we had a bout in which the team that was ahead only had the minimum of skaters left, so they were exhausted, and there ended up being 4 penalty jams. And it was incredible. Like, the team that was behind made up like 30 points at the end and made it extremely interesting. So again, like I say, I'm not just you know, trying to keep everybody excited. Like, I'm saying it's a 50-point lead, and I have seen odder things, is all. So that is why we have, you know, you see over there the Draggers right now are talking strategy. They are absolutely not going to rest on their laurels and just hope that they can wait out the rest of this game.
As cliche as it sounds, it's not over till it's over.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Penalty jams can keep going in perpetuum. They could just keep going. And that was really what makes it exciting when a team is behind and trying to close the gap. Anyhow,
absolutely, it can happen.
Embezzlement is going to start as the jammer for the first time.
And Skeletori for the Beauties.
And then Embezzlement skated for 1 second and took the star off. So still the jammer of record.
Skeletori is weaving their way through, gets out of the pack.
Tori gets around the outside, so that's what the Beauties are looking for here in the late stages of the game. Meanwhile, looking to see who is jammer currently for the Coffin Draggers. Everybody's focusing on Murder Mittens, so I'm going to go ahead and say that's Murder Mittens with the star in her hand and is now trying to get clear.
Yeah, in the meantime, Skeletori has made it through and is coming back around.
That's right. Tori's coming around for a second scoring pass. Here comes Murder Mittens officially now, trying to bring up the pursuit and force the call off, which she is able to do. So that defensive wall at the back of the pack for the Coffin Draggers was up to the task. We've got we'll have about 2:15 to go in regulation. Lining up to jam is going to be number 12, Maximum Overdrive. This is Max's first time jamming in the bout this evening.
And all of you die for the Draggers.
That's right. That is Olive once again. Waiting here, we got about dropped under 2:19 to go in regulation. Let's wait and see. A late penalty got yelled in there, so the Draggers are going to lose one blocker. Repositioning. Ended up being 7 points for the Beauties there in that last jam with Skeletori. Get that clerical item out of the way. All right, there we go. So Olive to the outside. Olive found a path right down Main Street and was able to get through untouched. Olive Udai is your lead jammer for the Draggers. And Olive is skating nice and leisurely as they try to work that clock. And Olive is just gonna, Olive just kind of jumps over the outstretched skate of your pivot there, and that is Gypsy Danger taking over as jammer for the Brutal Beauties.
Star passes all around.
Exactly, star passes all around. Olive is going to zip by those blockers along the inside. Excellent block there. Kind of a sneaky good block there by Ricky D. Bones along the inside. Just kind of got those blockers turned, sort of, and was like, had 2 blockers occupied and let that jammer sneak by along the inside.
Do we need a thing? Oh, good for now.
So there's
okay,
1:30 to go in regulation. That's 9 big points for the Coffin Draggers there as they try to put a period on this sentence. We're going to have Evil Twin up there for the Brutal Beauties. And a skater who has leaned really far over. That's Zora LaBruja jamming for the first time for the Coffin Draggers. Zora is another one of our volunteer medics and often sits down there in the infield being one of our medics on weekends where the Coffin Draggers don't skate. That's fun to see her out there jamming. Meanwhile,
Evil Twin is out.
Evil Twin is out. Zora now gets past those last 2 blockers and is going to take off in pursuit of Evil Twin. Under a minute to go in the regulation clock, but 30 seconds to go in the jam clock, so we've got time for another jam. And Evil Twin's going to call it off. Zora LaBruja coming in with a full head of steam. Ends up being 3 points for the Brutal Beauties.
And this might be our last jam of the night.
Yeah, it would more than likely seem to be. There's going to be about 10 seconds left when the whistle blows. Or exactly 10 seconds left when the whistle blows. If the whistle blows. The whistle blows.
All of you die in maximum overdrive.
That's correct.
We're on the jammer line there, and waking their way through the pack.
Max is going to get blocked off to the infield. Meanwhile, Olive gets kind of rotated to the front and is trying to get past those blockers. There's 3 Beauties up there right now. And they're trying to keep Olive pinned into the pack. Meanwhile, Max is looking for an opening. Olive gets dumped off to the infield and kind of slides into, I believe that was Chase and Voorhees down there. And there goes Max.
Yeah, Beauty's doing a nice job at blocking Olive.
Yep. Olive now is going to, at the front of the pack, and is going to get past Evil Twin. Kind of went head fake left and right, and Olive is going to call it off with the quarter clock having expired. So that's the end of regulation, and let's check our penalty outlook here and find out. Coffin Draggers trying to end up 4-1 on the season and go into the playoffs in as good of shape as they can. As we said, depending on the game tonight, we could have 3 teams in 4-1, and it'll get down to tiebreakers. So let's see. Here comes head referee Mama Seidel, and with that whistle, this score is final. Coffin Draggers 175, Brutal Beauties 124.
Okay, and for all of you new Derby fans, the tradition here at the end of the game is to come down, stand by the track, and give your team, your favorite players, a high five. So come on down to the track.
That's right. Here come the Coffin Draggers. So the Draggers are looking to enter the playoffs as hopefully the 1 or 2 seed. It's going to depend on later on. If the Runaway Brides win, they'll be the 1 seed, and then the Bombshells and the Coffin Draggers will be fighting for 2nd and 3rd. We do know the Brutal Beauties will be the 4 seed. Here come the Draggers skating on by. And now peeling on through is going to be the Brutal Beauties. And let's hear it for the Beauties as well.
Let's hear it for both of these teams.
That's
This is a
right.
great bout.
It was a really great bout. Beauties are coming on around. Once again, Beauties are also in the playoffs. Beauties made the playoffs last year, come back this year making the playoffs again. And they'll be heading in as the 4 seed, so they're going to wait to see who they face. It's going to depend on how the bout later goes on. Could be that the Beauties come right back against the Draggers. Who knows?
Are there a lot of tickets in the bags? They're more in the rear right.
All right, we are going to give away one more raffle prize here before we break away from you all.
And they'll be coming over here. I have,
All right, Derby fans, pull out your white raffle tickets. We've got a gift card from Sidewalk Surfer up here at the announcer table. The number is 495583. That's 495583. Give a yell if you've got it. Once again, that raffle ticket number is 4955.